Okay, good. My mouse is having a hard time here it's like maybe I need to put batteries in it. It's running out of batteries. Sometimes the cursor doesn't move. And okay, it looks like I'm recording right now. I don't want to record a whole episode, 30 minutes and find out, oh, it wasn't recording. Yeah, that's happened before. I don't want to do that. So I assume this thing is, okay, it's recording. All right. So if there's the first time you're listening, go back, listen to the other episodes, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I mentioned the last episode how I kind of went off. I kind of went off the deep end here. I was going through kind of a dark period in my life where I was seriously going down a dark path. I was really angry. I was short-tempered. You know, it was a struggle. It really was. And at this time, I found a job. In American Folk. It was a company that I didn't really know what it was, but I was so desperate to get out of the church office building. I wanted to get the hell out of there. I didn't care where I was working. Any office job that does web development, I'm game. Like, I'm going to work there. And there was this company, and it was in American Folk, right off the freeway in American Folk. And it seemed like a pretty small company. And I applied. It was a web design job, a front-end web design job. And I applied, and within 1 minute, they called me. And I'm just like, wow, that's record time. And they're just like, yeah, but that's how we do things around here. And I'm just like, wow, these people are on top of their game, you know? I just came back, I'm working at a job where people are just kind of just like, I felt like that a lot with the LDS church. I felt like the longer people were at the church, working at the church, the more they kind of just became a zombie. I talked to someone in my area recently who's left the church. He said, like, yeah, the working for the church is like a career graveyard. And this is the words he used. Like, the longer you work for the church, the more it becomes a graveyard. You just become nothing. And I'm glad I got the hell out of there. I was only there for a year, but I noticed at the church, when I worked for the church office building, there was a lot of the younger folks were all positive and happy, like, yeah, this is awesome. We're working for the one true church. But all the older people are just like, put a bullet in my head. They're just really kind of depressed and kind of just almost like a drone, like kind of monotone, kind of emotionalist, just nothing. And it was just like, I don't want to be that person. Well, I'm just going to be an intern the rest of my life. I'm not going to be that person. Even the full-time employees were like that. So I wanted to get the hell out of there. So I found this company in American Folk, really close to home. It was only like 5 minutes away, a lot better than an hour commute on train. And I'm just like, okay, this is a job I want. So I remember going to the job interview, and this was one of the days I had off. So I was able to have a job interview. And I still remember that the company was kind of tucked in kind of an area away from a busy street. And it was kind of just this building with no sign out front. It was kind of sketchy. I'm just like, oh, this is kind of weird. I didn't even know what the company's name was at first. I'm just like, they didn't reveal too much on their website, who they were and what they did. And I remember showing up and there was no sign outside on the building. It felt like it was a 2-floor office building, but it was kind of in the corner of town. It was not in the bad part of town, but kind of hidden from view, and it was kind of sketchy. And I'm just like, oh, whatever. And I walked in and they had like a security guy there with a gun and a badge, and the door was locked and he had to let me in. And I was just like, oh, that's weird. I mean, I can understand an office needs a security, but I've never worked in an office job where there was literally a security guard right at the front entrance, unless it's a huge corporation like the church office building. This was only like 50 employees. And I thought that was really odd. I'm just like, okay, well. And so I went in and I met the guy who job interviewed me. And I don't know if I can name him. I'm just going to say his name is Dan. I don't care. He was kind of a sketchy looking guy. He seemed like he was kind of, like he was kind of just not professional. He was just like, hey, sit down. And he was just like, he didn't, I'm kind of, it sounds kind of bad to say this, but I kind of sense people sometimes. I don't tell them that, or I don't tell anyone else. I keep the words to myself, because my mom taught me, if you have something mean to say, don't say anything at all. But this person just had a bad vibe, just a really icky kind of vibe. This place felt very icky. It felt like they were doing bad things. And I remember I had the job interview with this guy, and this guy just felt really kind of icky and kind of sleazy. And I remember he was very serious. He never smiled. He had no sense of humor. He was almost like a robot. It was really disturbing, actually. And I'm just like, whatever, it's a job. I need to get out of the church office building. I need to get out of there. I'm so desperate. And the guy, I wasn't really impressed by the company. They didn't really talk about what they really did. They're just like, yeah, we want you to do front-end web development for us. And that's it. That's what I got. I'm just like, okay. and then I got a second job interview with these people, and it was with the COO of the company. And he had like long hair. He kind of looked like a surfer dude from California. He's just like, "Hey man, sit down." And he was cool. I liked him. He was a good, I guess he was a good guy. I don't know. He was part of the scam, which I'm going to talk about. And he was definitely on top of the scam, this pyramid scheme, what they were doing. And this is going to be a multi-episode about this experience that I have. And like I said in the previous episode, working for the church was a butterfly effect of shit, because it was a bad decision, because I was so desperate to get hired anywhere that I went in on this company, and this company was almost as bad or worse than the previous company that I worked for. It was terrible. And so the company was just like, yeah, we need a front-end web developer who can make web pages for us. And that's it. That's all they said. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And I shook his hand, and he was just like, okay, we'll let you know in a couple of days if we're going to hire you or not. And we made a decision, and I'm just like, well, whatever. And then I went, and a couple of days later, I was bored to death at the church job, working for the church. And I got a phone call from this guy, and he's just like, yeah, we want to hire you. And I'm just like, yes, finally I can get out of here. And I was so happy. I remember it was one of the few times in my life where I can like absolutely so happy. I was just like a huge weight off my shoulder. I don't have to go here anymore. I don't have to work here anymore. And it was so great. Oh, I was so happy. And so I told my boss, it was very unceremonious. He was just like, okay, congrats, put your badge on, put your name tag on my desk, and good luck. And then I sent an email out to everyone in the team, even some of the people that I knew didn't like me. And they're just like, oh, when I was walking out with the box of my stuff, they're just like, oh, you're leaving. Oh, we're going to miss you. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, anyway, now you're being nice? Okay. Anyway, enough of that. So I was happy that day. I went home, and I remember on the train, I had my box of stuff that I had on my desk, and I'm just like, okay, life's going to be different. This is where things are finally going to go up. I'm going to work for this company, and it's going to be amazing, and things are going to start moving up. I'm going to start having faith in the Mormon church again. I'm going to regain my testimony. I'm going to redeem myself from a bad start in my career, because I've been graduated for a year now, and I got off to a really bad start, and this is going to be great. So I remember my first day at this new job. Like I said, the commute was awesome. It was only not even a 5-minute drive to where I lived. And I'm just like, and they were paying me a little bit more, and it was full time. That was the thing I loved about it. A full-time job. It wasn't part-time. I wasn't an intern. These people just hire full-time employees, and they give them brand new Macs, and you know, they treat them well. I felt like they were treating us well, like how a company should treat their employees. And I was just ecstatic. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be great. I remember the first day, I'm just like, they gave me like a brand new Mac. It was a huge, really expensive Mac, and they hooked me up with the brand, like state of the art, like, oh, the new software, you know, new Adobe programs and stuff like that. These people were just high rollers, man. They're just like, yeah, buy a couple of WordPress themes, just buy like 3 or 4 of them, and we'll pick the one we like best. You know, these people were just like money, spend, you know. And that's when I started noticing some issues. I'm just like, okay, what is this company that I got myself into? And the very first day that I got in, the very first day was a Monday, I remember, and I got in, and they had a meeting, and they would always have this meeting every single Monday. It wasn't the CEO of the company, but the leaders of the company, the executives and the salespeople, they would come out, and then all these people had really big mouths. They were just really loud, charismatic people, you know. They would pretty much get anything they want in life because they're just loud. And they'd get up in front of everyone in the office, and I was in the main office floor area, and they'd get up and they'd have a giant TV screen, and they'd show numbers on the screen. This is how much money this company has made last week. And it was in the millions. I mean, I couldn't believe that. I'm like, this company makes at least $30 to $50 million a week. And I could not believe that. I'm like, holy shit, this company is loaded. And I was still wondering, like, how are they making all this money every week? And they were saying all this stuff. And then what they would do was they would do this meeting every single Monday, right before the day starts. They'd show the numbers and all the stats about how well they did the previous week, and they'll have everyone stand up and clap as hard and cheer as loud as possible. They'll be like, "This is how much money we made last week. Show it on the screen right now. Here it is. 3, 2, 1. $44 million. Everyone clap your hands and high five each other right now." And everyone will be high fiving each other, and it kind of reminds me of it kind of reminds me of, looking back, there's a YouTube video or kind of a meme where it shows the people who created Microsoft. They released Microsoft in 1995. You had not Steve Jobs. You had Bill Gates and a few nerds, like high-fiving each other and pumping their fists when they're releasing the Windows in 95. And you can find this on YouTube. It's really cringe. And they're just a bunch of like nerds with glasses. No offense, nerds with glasses. And they're just like awkwardly, cringefully, that's a word, cringefully, high-fiving, pumping their fists and cheering with the crowd. And it's just the most cringe thing ever. That's what this reminds me of. And it's just these people. And I'm just like, this is weird. And I remember the first day, I'm just like, okay, this place I came back from, the church office building or the church job, and everyone's just like, yay, another day. Church is true. And I go to this company and they're just like high-fiving each other. There's energy. And I'm just like, okay, this is my kind of place. This is what I want in a job. I want energy. I want positiveness. I want people high-fiving each other. I want them showing that we're all important people in this cause, and I didn't feel like that we were treated well in the last job I was at. But this job, everyone's just like, good for you guys and stuff. And especially our salespeople, they're awesome. But, and it felt like it was, looking back, it was definitely a cult-like experience. I went from one cult to another, but then I'm just like, well, how did they make all this money? And I still didn't really know what this company was. And on their website, on the company's website, they show a completely different building and a different address on their website. And I'm like, that's sketchy. I'm like, it wasn't even the building that we were in. It was a different building, and it had a sign on the front. I'm just like, that's not the building we're in. And it showed it was in Arizona instead of Utah. I'm just like, what the hell? It was like somewhere in like Arizona, somewhere in Phoenix. I'm just like, that's not where this company is located. And I'm just like, something is off, you guys. Something is off. And so one person talked to me. He's actually a really cool employee. I don't remember his name. He was the guy in charge of the culture of the company and what they do. And he was actually a really cool guy, really, really good guy. He was kind of probably unfortunately suckered in, kind of like me. He wasn't really the wolves of the company. He was just unfortunately the sheep of the company. And he talked to me and he's just like, okay, this is what this company does and why we make so much money. And he showed me a graph. He's like, we do seminars. We do real estate seminars. It's a seminar where we advertise on Facebook these real estate gurus on A&E channel, like Scott Yancey, or a bunch of real estate house flipper shows on A&E channel on cable. And what we do is we have seminars, free seminars, we make Facebook ads about how you can meet this celebrity from this TV show for free. They're coming to your city, and all you have to do is register, and it's free. And the first 50 people get a free iPad or a free camera, and you get a free meal, and it's all free. And it's an hour long, and you learn how to flip houses and make a lot of money. And remember, this is right after this company started because of the house market crash during the recession. So houses were cheap, people would flip houses and sell them for a profit. And of course, that doesn't work forever. It doesn't work for everyone. But so the scam was pretty much a get rich quick bait and switch kind of scheme, where people would be like, oh, hot damn, I want to meet this guy. I love this show. I love this TV show. And they would register for this free class, usually at a hotel in their city, and it would always be at a certain time at night on a certain day of the week, and it would always have the clipping of the person, of the celebrity on the ad itself. Now, 99% of the time, what would happen is they would show up to this free seminar and the celebrity wouldn't even be there. He wouldn't even show up. And the free iPads that you get for the first 50, they wouldn't give them. Or if they do give you anything, they would just give you a really cheap camera that costs maybe $10. And you'd show up, and the free meal that they give you is just a sandwich. It almost feels like, have you guys seen the documentary Fiverr? It's about, I don't want to explain it right now, it'll take a whole episode, but it's like a total scheme by these rich jerks that were just like, hey, come to this island and spend all this money and come to this island, we're going to rock out. And it ended up being a total scam, and people were living in tents and the sandwiches had no meat in them. That's pretty much what this was like. It was similar. Look it up on Netflix. I think it's still on there. And it's kind of like what they did. The sandwiches were really piss poor. They're very low end meals. They were going to promise like catering, kind of like hotel catering. And the meal was just like chips, a bag of chips and like a sandwich, and that was it. And then the celebrity wouldn't even be there. And instead you'll get like this high pitched, like charismatic salesperson get up and be like, "Hey everybody, you want to get rich like me? Yeah." And then he would talk for like, it would be an upsell. And what the upsell was, after an hour of upselling how great it is to flip homes and how rich you can be, the American dream, blah, blah, blah. You want to learn the last thing we need to learn? Well, you need to spend $10,000 and learn something else in the next course. So the next level. So it was a level thing. So there'd be half the people would be like, "Oh, this is a scam. I'm out of here." And the other half of the audience would be like, "Okay, $10,000. I want to learn more." And then they'll go to that course. It was just another hour or two, $10,000 for a couple of hours. Yeah, seriously. It was crazy. And then a lot of people would spend all that money, and a lot of these people were poor. They targeted a lot of poor areas in the country that were suffering from this recession. A lot of these people were really poor people that were having, struggle. They're struggling financially, and they wanted change in their life. And it was really sickening that these people were trying to fool the poor like this. So then these people would be desperate. They're the myth of opportunity, I guess you can say, and try to get these people to spend all the money that they had left, if they had any. Probably a lot of people lost retirement because of these people. And so what happened was that they would do this, and at the time I didn't really know this is what they were really doing. The guy just told me they were just doing seminars and that we're helping people, but it wasn't until I wasn't at this company anymore when I looked it up and I figured out what was really going on, and then this is what was really going on. But during the year that I was at this company, I thought they were really helping people. There was definitely kind of a scam thing where it's just like, "Oh no, we're the good guys," and I didn't think how sketchy this really was. I was kind of ignorant, but also I really thought they were really presenting themselves as the good guys, And so there would be another upsell, $10,000, and then these people would go to the upsell, the higher class, and then it would just be another upsell to spend another $30,000 on the final course, which you can learn. You can learn the last most important thing to flip homes and be rich, but you have to spend $30,000 and do this class. And some people would go to that and spend all that money. And this is how this company was making so much money a week. Millions and millions a week. And that's how they were making the money. And at the time I was kind of ignorant and I was kind of stupid. I'm just like, "Oh, whatever." And I thought they really were helping these people flip homes. And I was actually kind of interested in getting into that. I was going to buy some property and start, and it does work for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody. The market changes, and especially doesn't work now. The housing market's so high, but it was, anyway, so I remember learning about this stuff. I'm like, okay, so this is what the company does. And then my boss, my managers, they gave me the task to build a bunch of landing pages to get the negative, pretty much to direct the negative traffic away. There's a lot of negative word on the street about what we do and who these celebrities are, that they're bad people. But we want you to build landing pages that show how wonderful these people are, these celebrities, and what we do. And our seminars are good and they're awesome. And that's what they told me. And they told me to make multiple landing pages. And they were pretty much just SEO kind of stuff, like stuff to direct traffic. People were searching about these seminars, and it would direct away from the negative websites that were telling the truth into these landing pages that I was building. And it was pretty much all stuff. It was all keyword stuff in. It was all full of images and stuff. The same images, pretty much. All the pages had the same images, and they were telling me to do this, and I'm just like, okay, I thought I was going to build web pages for you guys. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to make all these these website pages that are just one page, and it's just keyword stuff in and saying how wonderful the seminars and these people are. And I'm just like, so I did it, and I did what they told me to do. And I'm just like, well, if they really are helping people get rich, and helping people, then I'm doing good, right? And so I did this, and there was even some tasks where I had to create a website where it would go out to all the people who went to the seminar, every single person. What do you thought of the seminar? Did you like it or not? And if the people said, I did not like it, it was a scam, they would click that and it'll take them to a page to leave the negative review. Oh, so they wouldn't leave negative reviews on Google and Yelp and all the places where people would see it, which I believe this is illegal as well. You know, they were creating pages to direct the negative reviewers away from Google and Yelp and all this stuff. And that's what they were doing. And then I was going in on their web on Facebook ads and deleting all the negative reviews. This is a scam. This is a bait and switch, you know, and I was told to delete all of that on the ads, because Facebook ads, people leave comments on the promotion ads on Facebook, and a lot of people would leave like, it's a scam. And I was told to delete those. And some people would leave positive reviews, but most of them were negative. And my boss told me to go in and delete them. And I would do that at least once a day. And there was a lot of them. There was a lot of these ads and a lot of negative ads, a lot of negative comments. So it was all just damage control, what I was doing. And I was kind of ignorant and stupid then. I didn't even know that this company was pretty screwed up. And it was pretty much it was a pyramid scheme. It was a multi-level marketing company, a real estate scam. And it was based off of Trump University. You can look this up too. Donald Trump created a thing called Trump University. And it was pretty much exactly like this. You can look it up. You can Google search Trump University. And that failed and Trump got in trouble, you know, and surprise. And that's what this company was doing. They're doing exactly what Donald Trump did. It was called Trump University. And it was a real estate scam thing. It was all clickbait and it was all that. And that's what we were doing. So that's what my next job was. It was ran by a bunch of Mormons. They were the people in charge of this company met on their missions. They served in Atlanta, I think, somewhere back in the South, you know, kind of in poor areas. And they met on their missions, and they're just like, after their missions, let's create a company where we can sell real estate classes to people. And so the owners of the company met on their missions, and they were super TBM, I guess you can say, true blue Mormon, TBM. Yeah, they were super active in the church, and they were making millions of dollars. All the people on top of this company, all the executives were driving Porsches and really expensive cars. You know, my boss was driving a Porsche, and he actually let me ride in it a few times. You know, he took me out to lunch a few times at a really expensive restaurant. Like I said, these people were high rollers. They were just like spend. They would give us money. One time they told us to leave a positive review on Glassdoor. Glassdoor is some website where you review companies that you worked at. And they gave us, we'll give you $20 if you leave a positive review about this company. And of course it worked. And a lot of people left positive reviews for the company, and they got $20 for it. Yay. So they would do stuff like this, you know, and that's when I started noticing that there was something wrong with this company. And I'm just like, this company seems to be corrupt. There's red flags here. And that makes sense why their website didn't show the location, because I imagine these people are going to get sued by a lot of people. And that's what eventually happened. And that's going to be the next episode. The next episode is my experience leaving this company and the way they treated me when I left. And anyway, thanks for listening to my Mormon memory. This one was a really interesting episode because there's just so much to talk about, and it's really emotional for me. And it was a really hard time. It's hard to trust people, you know, especially people who claim to be good Mormon, Latter-day Saint, Christ-like people. It's hard for me to trust people nowadays. I've gotten a lot of mental health because of these last few episodes that I've talked about. It's hard for me to trust people because of what I experienced in these memories that I have, you know. But it's what really happened, and I feel like I need to share these stories. And anyway, thanks for listening. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, listen again. Listen to the next episode. Share it with someone who's also going through these things, who's doubt in the church or has left and felt like they're different and that they're bad. You know, they're not bad people. It's okay to doubt. It's okay to have questions, and it's okay to call bullshit on stuff that just is hurtful for a lot of people. And that's what I have to say. And thanks for listening. Join me in the next episode. Bye.